Kia ora koutou, ko te aho, haramai. Welcome to today's Makerspace. Going to send you off for a quick brain teaser and be back soon with our main activities. So welcome back. The first little activity we are going to do today is we're going to make a balloon kebab. Sounds interesting, doesn't it? What we're going to need is going to need a few balloons and a wooden skewer which we have wiped some vegetable oil on just to make it easier. Okay, so first thing to do is to blow up the balloons to about half their regular size. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our skewer through our balloons. What do you think is going to happen? I'm going to place the skewer through the end near the knot. There we go. I'm going to come out the other end. There we go. We expected it to pop, didn't we? I'm going to see if I can put another one on the other end. If you had a really long skewer, this would be really cool fun. So again, I'm going through the rubber that's near the knot. There we go. I'm going to try. My skewer is not long enough, but you can see that if we made our balloon small enough and if we had a really long skewer, that we would be able to make these look like a kebab. So why do you think this happened? We'll explain on the next slide. Of course, if you place the skewer in the middle of the balloon, it will pop. For this experiment, we are going to be looking at some chromatography. We're going to be looking at paper chromatography and looking at pigments that make up different coloured inks. So what we're going to need is we're going to need some textures or some felt. We will need a ruler and some tape, some blotting paper or filter paper, because we need the water to absorb into the colours to make them move. A bowl with some water in it, and some scissors to cut our filter paper, and we should be good to go. So let's focus on what we're doing on the bench. Okay, so first thing we need to do is we're going to cut out a number of strips of our filter paper or our blotting paper. We've got 6 here. Make sure you use some black as well. And just place a dot of the colour near the bottom of the filter paper, like so. So that's our black one. Next to that, I'm going to put a brown one. Brown. Blue, let's also try our green, a red, and a yellowy orangey colour. Well, it's more orange. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to tape these to our ruler. So there we are. The next thing we're going to do is put this in our bowl of water. Let's get a close-up of that. So you want to place your colours in the water. Just have them touching, and the water will travel up the filter paper. Put our colours, and then we can record the colours that we see. This process could take some time, so how does it work? Once you have removed your paper from your water and set it aside, it might have taken some time for the pigments to move up the filter paper. As you can see, mine's taken a little bit longer than I might have expected, but you can see some interesting results. Particularly if you can see through your filter paper, you'll see the black has got pigments of purple, and I can also see a little bit of green. The brown has also got some green in it, as has the blue, and the red has travelled further than any of the other pigments. Pretty cool, hey? Our next experiment, we're going to need overnight for this one, but we're going to try and grow some crystals. So what we're going to need is a glass jar, some sugar, some warm water, hot water, which we can just get from the tap. It doesn't need to be boiling, but you may need an adult to help. Something to stir with, and then we'll also need a piece of rough string and something to hold the string across the top of the jar, preferably something that is going to lie flat. It could be a pencil, it could be a lolly stick, or it could be anything else that you can find, a small ball or something like that. Okay, let's fill up our glass jar with some water to start with. So here's our glass jar with our hot water. I'm going to add spoonfuls of sugar one at a time, and we're going to keep doing that until no more sugar can be absorbed. And just one more, we don't want to use all our parents. The next thing we need to do, you can see that sugar is starting to not dissolve at the bottom, which is exactly what we want. The next thing we're going to do is just to tie on our piece of string to what we're holding over the top. We don't want it to go all the way down into the jar to the very bottom, but we want it to hang about 3/4 of the way. So just make sure you measure it against your jar before you pop it in. That now is ready to hopefully grow our crystals. Well, thanks for joining me for yet another virtual makerspace. Look forward to seeing what happens with our crystals overnight. And if you've got any feedback, or you would like to send us a picture of the crystals that have formed in your glass jar, please feel free to do so. Ka kite.